No, my toggle button didn't work. Oh, God. Hi, everybody. I'm Matt with K15T, and we are here to talk about Confluence Whiteboards. We are going to be talking about how you can go from messy ideation all the way into planning with the power of AI, which is super exciting. There's some amazing things now that you can do with Rovo AI in whiteboards that I'm just like kind of like about. But before we get to that, this is actually live. You've already seen me not be able to unmute myself. That means this is live, which means you need to be in the live chat. Hey, everybody in the live chat. Thank you for letting me know that my sound wasn't working. Please, if you have a question at any point, throw it in the chat with hashtag question. That helps us pull it out of the chat and be able to answer those questions. Don't be afraid if I don't answer it right away. We'll try to circle back to it when it is appropriate. Also, please, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button. That tells YouTube some fun stuff is going on. Also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel. We're dropping new videos all the time, once again, which is excellent, excellent. Finally, we're going to drop a link in the chat to our weekly Confluence newsletter. We actually just sent a newsletter all about what we're going to talk about today on the live stream. We send out new content every week for those people who are Confluence curious or Confluence serious. Wow, I just came up with that, and that is like really good. I feel really proud of that line, actually. Finally, if you don't have plans for coming to Team Barcelona in a few weeks, K15T is going to be there, and we would love to see you there. Also, our friends from the Confluence team and all of the Teamwork Collection app teams are going to be there as well. So it would be super cool to see you there. If you are there, please drop by the K15T booth and let's chat. Speaking of chatting, we are not just here to hear from me. I would like to welcome to the live stream our very favorite guest, don't tell anyone else, Emily Ditchfield, product manager at Atlassian. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hey, Matt. It is so good to be here.
Please don't tell anyone you're the favorite. It's like, it's implied.
I feel like the secret's out. Isn't this live?
Oh my God, I see the mute button again. It's just not working when I want it to. Never mind. Sorry, everybody. No, I take it all back. I take it all back. Your words, not mine. Okay. We have so much to talk about and so little time. So without further ado, Emily, I hear that we got a little bit of AI in our whiteboards. Could you tell us a little bit about this and then show us a lot about it?
I sure can. AI, it's like the hot topic of the moment, isn't it? We are very, very excited because we've just released 2 new creation capabilities on Confluence Whiteboards using AI. They've just gone to beta. You should have access to them now if you're not on bundled tracks. And if that is the case, I would encourage you to go and test them out. So the 2 features that we have released are brainstorming. I like to think of this one like exploration, synthesis, getting all of your thoughts together in one place and kind of conversing with AI directly onto your whiteboard. The second is about diagramming. We know you love diagrams inside whiteboards, and so we're just trying to make your lives a little bit easier by adding a diagramming AI functionality into whiteboards. I've got some really fun examples for us today. I think that, Matt, if you don't mind, can I show one?
Actually, everyone in the live chat is saying they would not like to have any fun examples. We would like this to be very uninteresting. So I'm sorry to disappoint, but I guess we'll just end it here. Thanks so much for joining. Yes, please let me bring up your screen. Y'all, buckle up because this stuff is so great. Please, Emily, proceed.
Okay. So let me give you an example. I'm going to switch over to a blank whiteboard to start with. I'm going to give you an example because while I was waiting for this live stream, I was at home trying to figure out what movie to watch while I was waiting because hint, hint, it's a little bit late for me at the moment. And so I actually did something a bit fun on my whiteboard. You can do this with any topic that you want. and I'm doing this for y'all with movies, just so that you can see that it can search the web. But I'm going to ask my Smart Create to look through online sources and figure out what the top movies have been that have come out over the last few months. You can see that I'm like specifying where it is that I want it to look. It has access to your entire Atlassian system of work graph, but you can also turn it on to be able to search web sources as well. And so while it is creating, you'll be able to watch it create all of that content for you. Or actually, you can move around the board as well. So sometimes you're collaborating with other people. And then from that, you can then go and like look at other content, come back, wait for it to be finished. Here we go. Oh, we don't have validated data. I think I must have turned off the web search for me.
No. Based on your internal Confluence information, it can't recommend any movies? Come on. I'm trying to think.
Based on my internal Confluence data, it's not working. No, but that might be because it's a net new site and I've turned off web search. One of the things that you should make sure that you're doing if you want this kind of access is making sure your admin has turned on web search and you're not like me trying to look up things on a site that doesn't have access to web search.
Without web search, this would be good for something like, the way I used it the other day was in my site, we have a lot of pages about a swag store the team is working on launching. And it's a big effort across multiple teams. And so I was able to ask it like, hey, give me some example names for what the swag store should be called. And that was very helpful. In fact, I could just show that right now if we want to just do that, since we don't need web search for that.
That would be fantastic.
Would that be crazy? All right, let's do that. Let's do that. And I am going to use just this little browser here called Dia that was recently in the news. Okay, so I'm going to say, oh no, I turned off my premium. I don't have premium, so I can't show you. Oh no, I forgot. Wow, this is stunning.
We're having a great day with our demos today. We've got too many things to turn off.
So what are some situations where teams are going to use brainstorming? So you've used this like movie example, which is a really good personal example, but like if I'm in a meeting with 10 people, like what am I going to ask brainstorming for? What is it going to do for me that just like the 10 of us aren't going to be able to do?
I think one of the best parts about this is it can take in a lot of information, and instead of you having to synthesize that information down, it does it for you in a succinct way. So, for example, you're getting started on a new project and you're trying to make sure that you have all of the context, and maybe you don't quite have the right people in the room, but you all need to understand that context right away. You can actually just ask the Smart Create to brainstorm all of that content out onto your whiteboard and explore that information together as a team. And then one of the great parts about this is at the bottom of your screen, are we all still looking at my screen, Matt?
We are now.
Okay, great. At the bottom of your screen, you've actually got these little follow-up prompts. And so one of the great ways that you can dig into that information is by hitting one of these follow-up prompts and further cards. Oh, we're having a really good day with the errors. I think that I've managed to like trip an issue on my site. Christ. Okay, we've had another error. I need to follow this up with the team tomorrow. But you can click on one of these little follow-up prompts here, and then based on those, you'll be able to like dig deeper into the content that you have available.
Interesting. Okay. So is that connected to, what is that, deep research, or is that just further recommendations based on what you've already done?
It's further recommendations based on the content that you've already been looking at. So say I start with, do you guys have Baskins and Robbins over there? Maybe I'm an ice cream company. I'm like trying to figure out what my next flavor is.
Okay. Yeah, but
Um,
aren't they limited to like
right?
32 or something? That's pretty important.
Ooh, are they only limited to
Yeah, I think
32? I
that's the
didn't know
thing.
that.
Chat, isn't there a number for Baskin Robbins? Like it's like 31 flavors or something like that. It's like in their new logo. It's pretty important. 31 flavors. All right, Andy says it's 31 flavors. All right.
Okay, only
Flavor
31 flavors.
flavor
They're trying to
31 has gone
replace
belly
one of
up.
the
Yeah, oh
flavors.
my god.
Yeah. Okay, and so you start with what are the current trends for ice cream flavors? And obviously, Baskins and Robbins is going to have like a huge amount of ice cream content on their site. And
Uh-huh.
so then,
Uh-huh.
based on that, it will provide you a list of all of the flavors that are being kind of like looked at the moment. And maybe one of the things that is really highlighted is chocolate because we all love a bit of chocolate. So maybe you need to click on the trends that takes you to the chocolate trends that you can investigate a little bit deeper. So all of the different things that are at the bottom of your cards are the things that you can dig in just like a little bit more to get a deeper understanding.
This is so interesting. Is Rovo also highlighting here if it's referencing internal content? And I can actually demo on mine now. I have turned on premium, so I can show from there if that is helpful.
That's super helpful. I think that what's happened is we've hit like a branch that I'm currently on with the team while we've been testing out some changes that we wanted to make. So I would love it if you could use a production site that you've got.
All right. Recommend some names for our upcoming swag store project. All right, doing Smart Create. Here we go. It's reviewing my question and creating some cards. All right, so you can see that it's working on suggesting some names here. Oh, these are pretty good. Merch Magic, Logo Lounge. Oh no, I've also come across an unknown error. We are testing in production here. Yeah, so this is each one of these
Hmm.
would be pulling from the actual pages that we have. And then, yeah, again, there's some additional Ask Rovo stuff down here. I'm being told I'm not sharing my screen. What am I sharing? My equipment is very much not working here right now. I'm so sorry, everyone. A little bit of everything is not working, which is a really fun experience. How about
You
this?
can tell with the fact that both Matt and I are hitting errors. There's a reason that this is still in beta. We're working on it to make it even better. So we'd love it if you could give it a go, but also give us feedback. We want to see what kinds of prompts you're using, hear what's wrong with it, hear what's right with it. We'd love a little bit of usage to give us some more feedback on how to make this even better.
All right, there is my screen. I'm so sorry, everyone. Yes, I am also in beta today, apparently. So here is an example of where it started to create the new cards, and here are the name suggestions here that it generated, along with some additional suggestions. Yeah, so so that is brainstorming. But can we brainstorm from stuff we already have on a board? Like, can we use this with content that already lives on the whiteboard?
You sure can. Thank you for asking that. It's like I planted you, Matt. So if you select the content that you've got on your whiteboard, you actually can use it to generate a bunch of other content. So let's see. We're going to steam ahead and hope that this is working, but if it's not, I'm going to raise some bugs with my team overnight. All right, so say for example, I've done a brainstorm. You can see that I'm like on a bit of an ice cream bender at the moment. I think I was hungry tonight while preparing for this
Yeah.
session, Matt.
What
Um,
flavor? What flavor is the most important to you right now?
oh, the most important flavor always is vanilla. It's like the base. You've got to get the vanilla right.
It's true. We're seeing a lot in the chat about vanilla being important. Yeah, that's the base.
It
That's the
is
most important
important.
base. Ooh, who says chocolate's the most important base? Who says vanilla? Please throw it in the chat. This is extremely important. Extremely important. All right, continue. I'll report back, Emily.
I can't wait to hear. Okay, so amazing. let's pretend again I'm part of some ice cream company that is like choosing their next flavor or their next area to go down. I've run a little brainstorming session and I need to figure out what to do next. So I'm going to select all my content. I'm going to hit Smart Create again. I'm going to hit Brainstorm, and you can see that all of my sticky notes that have been selected actually have like got a little thing up here
Ah,
inside the Brainstorming UI that says that I'm going to be referring to those sticky notes. All right, so what am I going to ask it? Like maybe I'm going to ask it something about summarizing the content and figuring out what to do next.
creating a
There
card.
we go.
Everyone gets a little
He's
nervous.
creating. Well, I'm particularly nervous tonight, Matt.
Yeah, it's all right. Hold my hand. We'll get through this. And here we go. So this is fascinating. So you have given it context here. By selecting the elements on this whiteboard, you've said, yeah, I know you have general knowledge, but I want you to focus on this. Speaking of general knowledge, we're seeing more votes for mint as the most important base. I guess mint and vanilla, sorry, chocolate fan, mint and vanilla are very much like very important to people.
Interesting. I don't know if I can get behind the mint. Maybe that will lose us some fans. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, please. We're trying to grow our subscriber base, Emily. That's too much of a hot take. No, so some people are like, oh, mint chocolate chips, so good. And then some people are like, that's true. That's toothpaste and chocolate. Please don't.
It is toothpaste in chocolate, but that's okay. Maybe it's like helpful, two in one. What you can see though is that my Smart Create has actually broken this down into two cards because I asked it to summarize and then create an action plan for me. What it's done is it's created a summary, which is great so that I don't have to summarize it myself. But then it's also created an actionable plan for me to like follow and figure out what my next steps are after this brainstorming session. So that's one of my favorite things about it. It like succinctly separates out the parts of your prompt so that you don't necessarily have to ask it multiple questions. And then at the bottom, it's got all of these like different ideas that you can follow.
So interesting. And can I like especially that action plan looks so good. Can I like turn that into Jira work items or something right from here?
You can't turn these ones into Jira work items, but you can turn the ideas into Jira work items. So anything that's a
Gotcha.
shape or a sticky note, you can turn into a Jira work item, which is great if they're
Excellent.
the ideas that you're going to be following through with.
Okay. Okay. And speaking of shapes, just to give a quick break from all this exciting AI talk, isn't there some news about shapes on whiteboards? Are there not some new
News about
some new shapes?
shapes. I think you might be right, actually, Matt. I think that there are some new shapes. If you click on the little shape icon, I think that you'll find that there's actually a couple of extra buttons in here that weren't there before.
Oh my god.
Um, so we've actually added a bunch of new shapes. We heard you all complaining
Oh.
very rightly that we didn't have the flowchart shapes, and so we've added all of our flowchart shapes and advanced flowchart shapes in as well. We've actually also got some cloud architecture stickers down here too. These will be only available for our premium and enterprise users, and you'll have access to all of these. And we've actually maybe got some more shapes coming soon, but I don't know if I can mention anything more than that, except for the fact that we've got shapes coming out our ears.
All right. You heard it here first, everyone. Whiteboards are shaping up. Da-dum. Thank you. No, thank you. No, seriously, thank you. No, this is so phenomenal because if you have been trying to draw flowcharts on whiteboards, it has been just like troubling. Like, come on. We got a couple of hearts in the live chat. Thank you for those two of you who thought that was an attempt to be amusing. This is such a good addition. So are you saying that only the cloud architecture ones are those are only available in enterprise? But everything, all the other shapes are available to
Premium and enterprise.
premium and enterprise.
All
Okay.
of the cloud architecture shapes will be just available for premium and enterprise, but flowcharts and advanced shapes will be available to everyone.
Amazing. For those of us who are manually creating diagrams, this is incredible. But what if I didn't want to manually create a diagram? Is there some sort of magic you could show me that would allow me to do this more intelligently and quickly?
Some sort of magic, like maybe AI?
I think I feel like I'm in an
What?
infomercial right now. That was too scripted. I'm so sorry, everyone. I apologize.
Oh, I love that. Yes, absolutely. There is some AI capabilities that we've added in for our diagramming as well. Um, so diagramming has had the same kind of treatment that brainstorming has had. And so what we've been able to do is we've added flowcharts and mind maps into our capabilities here. Um, you can ask it really basic ones. I'm going to continue to push the limit here, even though we've had a couple of errors so far today, and I'm going to add a prompt in here that refers to a Loom video. And this Loom video talks through
Ooh.
a process. And I want it to include timestamps. I'm actually going to hope that it provides for me a little rundown of how you would import a Miro board onto Confluence Whiteboards.
Okay.
Oh, an unknown error is still occurring. Let's try it on a new whiteboard.
Hey, that's a good idea. While you're
I'm a big
while
fan
you're
of restarting.
I feel like whiteboards are feeling very diagrammy as of late. I'm looking at some shapes. I'm looking at Smart Create. Are we thinking diagrams? Like, is this is this becoming a diagramming tool as well?
I think
Oh,
we've kind of always wished that it would be a diagramming tool. Like we were a baby diagramming tool before with all of our little
mm,
basic shapes. We're starting to grow up and really find our feet in the diagramming world. We know that we don't
uh-huh.
quite hit the mark yet with all of the more advanced diagramming kinds. Like we know BPMN, UML, all of the C4, all that kind of stuff. We know that they're really important to our users.
Yeah.
Um, but we're growing. You can see that there's definitely change that's happening for the better.
Yeah, I should say so. As a designer of many terrible diagrams, what is happening right before our eyes here is so incredibly powerful. Because this is stringing together a process pulled out of a loom where someone described the process. But it's fine. It should be
And
on the
now it's
whiteboard now.
broken.
And
Oh my gosh.
is it Monday right
Ah,
now? Um,
what is happening right now? I
somebody
swear I
mentioned
tested all of these before we got into the live stream.
this is really fun. Somebody mentioned their software teams have started using whiteboards for diagrams. Um, that they're like getting into it. I would guess that those teams are going to be enjoying it even more now. Oh my god, it really does have timestamps.
It's got me some timestamps. So we've got the entire process written out here, and you've got all of the little details about what you need to do to make sure that you can export and then import your Miro board into Confluence Whiteboards in nudge nudge. And then we've got the full flow available for you, just based on the Loom video that I provided.
This is so cool. These are all just stickies or stickies and lines, and
These are
it's
all
built.
shapes and
These are all
lines,
shapes.
yeah.
Unbelievable. This is so cool. How does it decide the colors? That is not an important question, but I'm so curious.
So we've asked it to define colors based on like what the different processes are that's happening. So it's obviously
Ah,
decided that it needs to highlight the actual like export process here, which makes sense, and then also the waiting period. And so you can see like the moments where it's the start and end have a different color, and then also decision points have a different color as well.
interesting. And if I were to export whiteboards from another tool and import them into Confluence, which tools could I export those whiteboards out of to import them into Confluence?
It's a good question. We've got two or importing capabilities today that will import your boards natively into Confluence Whiteboards. So that means that you can like edit them and update your content and all that kind
Hmm.
of stuff. And those two products are Miro and Mural. Um, for anything else at the moment, you can import content, but it will be a static image.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Now I'm curious. Okay, so I see that it's added a step for reviewing imported content. Very important to do to make sure it's all good. What if I wanted to brainstorm from that shape and say, "Hey, I want more ideas on things to look for when I'm reviewing imported content." Can I use Smart Create to expand upon that idea?
You sure can. So you know how I used before the like brainstorming with the selected shape? What happens when you select the shape is it uses that content. So you could either use the brainstorming functionality there and it would provide you with some cards and ideas and like you could type your prompt in and say, give me some ideas of things to make sure that I'm checking. And then the other option is that you could ask it for a diagram for the system of work that you want to look for, all of the different errors that you've got, or maybe even create a mind map of the different kinds of things that you should be looking out for.
Oh my God, this is so cool. Sometimes I don't know if I'm the only one who does ideation both by myself and also with a group, but sometimes you're just like, okay, like zoom and enhance sort of. And this allows you to do that. Like, okay, I see this idea, expand upon this. And the speed at which you can do this is insane. We have a question from the live chat. We see this works with Loom videos. Will this work with other videos? Like if I have another just a video that's an attachment on a page, or if I give it a YouTube video, can it also do this?
It's actually a really good question, Matt. We have access to everything that Rovo has access to. Um, if Rovo can understand the content of the video, that means that we'll be able to map it onto the whiteboard. I'm not 100% sure though if Rovo has access to the content of different kinds of video formats. Um, it's a good question for us to look into.
All right, interesting. That's a really nice question, Lynn. Thank you. We're probably gonna have to play around with it a bit. I would pull up my example, but my Robo does not have online search turned on, so I would guess that it can't do that with a YouTube video at least. Um, that's so fascinating. That's so fascinating. Um, Talk to me about mind maps. What would I use a mind map for? We've seen a flow chart here, but where would I use a mind map, and how would this be useful to a team who is sitting down and exploring a topic together in a whiteboard?
Mind maps are a really interesting one, Matt, because if I'm totally honest, I have never been a huge mind map user, which is blasphemy as like a major whiteboards person.
I was gonna say, you all heard it here first. Oof.
Oh, don't tell anyone.
So many
We'll keep that
secrets
between
coming out of
us,
this live
please.
stream.
Luckily, though, I have a partner in crime, a fellow product manager who works more in the diagramming space, and he is a big mind maps user. So he was the one that started to work on the mind map functionality. So don't worry, folks, you've got someone who actually is a huge mind map user driving the mind maps functionality. Mind maps, though, are all about ideation. So instead of drawing out or the flow or the process of it, mind maps allow you to expand into all of the unknowns and get a couple of ideas down for you. So that use case that you actually spoke about before, Matt, of where you could be looking for more ways that you should be looking at your imported content, is a great use case for mind maps. So why don't we try and use this sticky note, switch over to the mind mapping tool and ask it, what kind of things do I inspect on my whiteboard after import?
This is incredible. Can I replace my therapist with mind maps? I'm just curious because I'm having trouble mapping my own mind. Would you recommend that live on a live stream that I replace my therapist with Rovo powered mind maps, Emily?
You're just trying to get a soundbite out of me, Matt.
I really am. I really am.
I'll be in the news tomorrow.
Like and subscribe. It's full on gotcha content on this channel now, everybody. Like this is going to be good stuff. All right. I love some of these messages that come out of Rovo. Like, I'm still building, I'm creating a card, I'm reading through things. It's like, I get you. You know, take your time, take your time.
He's trying. He's researching. And now he's going to start building. Um, you'll notice as well that once Rovo starts to create things, we've got our follow user experience that pops up. And we do this so that you can like watch where the content is coming through. You can see he's like available up here. Oh, Smart Create didn't create anything for me today.
Smart.
Oh, Matt, we're having so many technical difficulties.
Smart Create just isn't feeling super smart at the moment, but I totally feel that. How about, I think it would be really cool to look at some of the other newly released features that are in whiteboards that actually make a huge difference for all of us using whiteboards, including those teams that maybe don't have access to AI. So quickly, would you just talk us through some of these? First of all, the toolbar has been redesigned. Can you give me quickly, why did the team do this?
Oh, well, I personally love the new toolbar. Back in the day, when we first released whiteboards, our toolbar was one of our favorite things. It felt very unique to us. It felt very much so like the flavor of what Confluence Whiteboards was. But one of the things that is always true is that things need to change and evolve as they grow, and whiteboards is one of those. So you'll notice that our new toolbars, not just the toolbar at the bottom, our main toolbar, but also our collaboration bars on the side, have both been updated to match the same kind of vibe that Confluence Pages has. And we've done this so that we've modernized the experience a little bit more, made it easier for you to add more content in, and also given us more space as we've added more tools into the capability that is Confluence Whiteboards.
Yeah, I think the tools, so one of those new tools, obviously you've expanded the shapes menu, but also you've added a pen tool, which was very absent from the original whiteboards. And Stefan, who is in the chat right now, answering questions and making everyone's lives great, he is very much always using pen tools in all of our other tools, and now he can graffiti all over our whiteboards as well, and we love that for you, Stefan.
We also love the pen tool. There's been an ongoing joke in the team that the pen tool is something that I've wanted in whiteboards forever because I am always drawing all over things. And so without the pen tool, I've been drawing on like sticky notes in real life to show people the kinds of things that I think about. And so the pen tool for me was one of the most exciting features that we've gotten to add in a while. It just means that you can draw up and mock up things in a really, really simple first basis kind of way. It's like truly the scrappiest form of ideation when you can use a pen.
It's super exciting to have that. Because sometimes you do need to sketch a thing, and to just be able to I'm circling this or whatever is so important. And just like a quick note, while you can't use the pen tool on mobile devices, you can now view whiteboards on mobile devices in the Confluence app.
Oh, this is one that I was a gotcha for me all the time, Matt. I was on the train on my way home trying to read my little notifications that I was getting on my phone, and I'd click on a Confluence whiteboard because I've been mentioned in a comment, and I can't view it on my phone. And so one of the things that we 100% were very keen to get to users is a way for them to view all of their whiteboard content on their phones so that they could see it on the go.
It's so excellent. I have a really nice iPad Pro that is my favorite device to do anything on, and I really want to use whiteboards on it. So I don't know that that I'm your favorite, Emily, but apparently now that you are mine. So just gonna say I really want to use my iPad for whiteboards. Just putting that into the universe. No big deal.
I think I know someone that I can put a good word in. Yeah. I'll keep you posted, Matt. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of ways of working in whiteboards, and I really wanted to bring this up because, audience, this really matters, especially when you're working with folks from different cultures. Talk to me a little bit about private mode and anonymous voting, because these are two sort of separate little features that may have gone under the radar for a lot of people. But Emily, I'd love to know, why are these features actually really important for the way teams can work together and be really honest with each other when working on a whiteboard?
This is so useful. We use these in our team all the time. So when you're adding a sticky note in, at the moment, you can actually show who has made the sticky note. So let me say hi to all of the people out there who are watching me do this right now. And you can see that it's from me at the very bottom of my sticky note if I click that little author button in my toolbar. And so at the moment, we can see exactly who is writing what content on the whiteboard in real time as it's happening.
Right.
However, we also have the ability to have a private mode turn on. And so that's this button here in the collaborator bar. Once I've clicked that, I can either choose to keep the authors anonymous, or I can leave it so you can turn authors on afterwards. This is really great for not just psychological safety and making it possible for you to like keep everything that might be a little bit like spicy private so that people can feel more comfortable sharing the thoughts that they have and make it possible for them to like bring your culture to a level that you really want it to be at. But also great for avoiding groupthink as well. So sometimes during brainstorming sessions, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Matt, but you like start to type out sticky notes and then someone else is like typing out the same sticky note as you and you're like, did you read my sticky note or is this actually an original thought? And so instead of having that experience, you can turn on private mode for those times as well, but keeping your authors not anonymous. So let's start by, I'm going to turn on keep authors anonymous. And you can see that as I turn on, you've got the private mode is on, you've got private mode on over here. And also when I create sticky notes, they're gray with a little hat in the bottom left-hand corner. So you know you're in private mode. This will happen for any new sticky note that you're creating during private mode. When you're typing as well, I don't have a collaborator to show this with, but when I'm typing, you see for other users that it's like a grayed out line here instead of the text. So you're not seeing the text that's being created during the private mode either, in case you're like working on the framing, making sure that the framing isn't like too much during the conversation. Okay, so once you're done with the session, you can actually turn the private mode off. And you can see that if I click this button here, it doesn't have my name attached to it. So you can have those spicy conversations in a way that allows you to make people feel more comfortable.
I love this.
Oh, you also mentioned private voting. So we've got a very similar functionality for voting, which means you can like vote on the slightly spicier things as well. And so that's just turning this toggle on here. And when you're clicking on this little button, you can see that instead of having my name next to the one vote, it just has the little anonymous logo. And so you can see collectively how many votes there are, but you can't see who has voted on what. So again, it just allows you to be a little bit safer on the whiteboard when you're having those like difficult conversations.
For sure. Emily mentioned psychological safety. Features like this are so important when you're working with teammates who, you know, because of past work history or cultural expectations or, you know, experience with bad managers or something like that, you know, you might find, hey, this person I'm working with, they just say yes to everything, or they don't challenge anything. And while that might seem good in some ways, these things hinder innovation. They hinder ideation. And so when working with folks like this, it's so valuable to have these anonymous options so everybody can just be honest, share their actual thoughts, and then when they're ready, just like make those thoughts available in an anonymous setting. If you're experiencing that with your teams, try using these features. I think you will be surprised how people open up when they have true anonymity. And it's not, you know, people get to choose how much of themselves to bring to work. And these are tools that allow them to bring much more of themselves with an element of safety. And overall, the entire team benefits much more from rather than people just being like, I have thoughts and ideas, but I'm just going to say yes to everything. These tools, like, cannot recommend them enough. This is a real game changer for, and actually somebody else in the comment mentioned this is like totally a godsend in some of the storming work their team is doing as well, which is really, really, really cool. Also, you mentioned that, or you haven't mentioned, but we should mention that we can find things on whiteboards now. Is that right?
Yes, that is right.
I'm so happy.
I'm so happy with this one. It just sounds so basic, but it's such a quality of life functionality for you all. It's such a quality of life functionality for me, honestly. We've got some giant whiteboards in our Confluence space. Let's use this one because it has like a little bit more content available on it. I think that there might be the word ice cream on this whiteboard. I'm not 100% sure. But if I look up the word ice cream, you can see that I'm being navigated around my board for the word ice.
This is so lovely. And what if I wanted to like select a group of these stickies and resize them? Can I do that now?
Again, yes, thank God. It's very exciting for us to be able to resize in multi-select. It just makes everything so much easier when you're trying to make your whiteboard look nice.
This is really, really helpful. If you all are new to whiteboards, welcome to the golden age. For those that maybe we've been working in the beginning, these quality of life improvements just make everything work so much better for the team. There's a lot of elements on here. How many elements can I put on a whiteboard these days? Like that's a ton of sticky notes.
It's a ton, but it's actually nowhere near our limit. We were actually finding that a lot of customers were hitting the limit of the number of elements that we were enabling because you'll just want the biggest whiteboards. So we have doubled the number of elements that you can now have on your whiteboards. We've gone from 5,000 elements to 10,000 elements.
10,000 elements on a whiteboard. Oh my God, that's the biggest mind map ever. Just mind map our entire Confluence, please. Good God, that is wild to me. That's wild. Okay, so
it was a really exciting shift for us.
That's and that like runs in the browser. It's just like fine and it's happy and it's cool.
It does a really good job.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that we really wanted to make sure when we were increasing the number of elements is that we weren't degrading our performance. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my mind cannot with that. So before I, blow a brain or a blood vessel here, I'm looking at your ice cream diagram here, and I'm curious. We've talked about using AI for that very beginning of ideation, right? But we're talking, the theme of this live stream is to go from ideation into planning. So what if I wanted to sort of like cluster some of these sticky notes in a way to help me go from the sort of mess into like something more organized to move toward planning? Am I manually doing that? Like what tools does my team have to move? Because it's hard to move from messy into let's get it organized and then let's get it into Jira.
Yeah, it's a good question. It sounds like you're kind of following the action plan we came up with before, Matt.
Oh my God.
The next step, I think, was to organize them. So let's do that. Okay. You're so right. I'm not going to force you to sit here and have a conversation with me and like figure out where each of these go. I'm actually just going to hit this group related button.
Group related. This is amazing. So this is using Rovo.
It sure is.
All right.
And so once it's done, it will group them all together for you. And we've got these like 6 different groups, I think. And you can see as well that some of these are like a little bit larger. So if I actually want, let me remove some of these lines. We keep all of the connection lines because you don't want to lose any of the content. But
I was going to say, you need to get rid of some of this because Baskin Robbins has the full plan here. Somebody share this with Baskin Robbins, please.
But one of the cool things, Matt, is that like, okay, maybe this one's a little bit larger than the others, and I want to break it down a little bit more. I can actually just click on the section itself and hit group related again. And then it will look at all of the sticky notes inside this section and then break it down further for me.
And create
So we've gone
groups.
from one group and it's gone into a much larger group.
Okay, this is stunning. Like having played a role like a scrum master in a past team, these roles where you're trying to lead a group, you facilitate a group in ideation. This sort of takes so long, and deciding like what are the similarities and whatnot, and to be able to do this on the fly, even to just do it and then be like, is this the way we would group these ideas? Yes or no, is so incredible. And this now gives the team talking points, right? We have things we can talk about. So how would I then, okay, so we've gone from messy ideation, or, and we've used AI tools to get the process started. We've used Rovo now to group some ideas. How would we, let's say we want to go forward with one of these groups of, ideas, how would we then move this forward into, a planning sort of situation?
It's a good question. I feel like once you go into planning, you're kind of going from like Confluence into Jira. And so for us, our next step would be to select our sticky notes and then create Jira work items from them. And so you can select as many sticky notes as you want, or shapes as well. We're not sticky note selective here. And then you choose your site and your project and the kind of work type that you need to use for it. I don't really want them in this project. Let's put them into a different project. You can see that all of my test sites have to do with my name. Let's put them in Zen Home.
Love that.
So you can choose these. These feel more familiar. These are the work types that you might want to use. So they could be tasks or epics or stories. Let's make these ones stories. You can see that they've all got their titles there from the sticky note content that was available. And then you can set fields as well. So say, for example, I know that these are all going to be my issues that I need to work through. I can set the assignee. Or if I want to have other fields as well, so things like required fields that you have to set, or maybe you know that they're going to be a part of a specific project, and so you want to set the parent, you can set all of those from here. And then you hit create, and it actually turns them all into Jira Smart Links. And my favorite part about this is actually that when I go into the Jira issue and look at it from the issue view, you can see that it's linked back to the whiteboard. Oh, sorry. You can tell I've been with Atlassian for a while. It's like ingrained in me that they're issues.
Emily has issues, everybody.
I have issues. I've got 99 issues and they're all on Jira. So you can see it's linked back to my whiteboard. So I know where it came from, which means that instead of being like, oh my gosh, what on earth does this title mean?
Right.
I can click on the whiteboard and it will take me back to the context of where it came from.
This is so, again, having been a Scrum Master, we just did the entire process. We went from no ideas to, here's a mind map, here are some cards with information, to we've organized our ideas on the board, to we've created work items, all in one one process. And I'm just like blown away by this. I have a few questions, Emily, from the live chat. The first is, when someone is using private mode, is there cursor shown? So are people going to say, okay, I can see someone's working in private mode, but I can see whose cursor is there while they're working in private mode? How private is private mode?
It's a really, really good question. And we did have a think about this because we know how important cursors are for our users. When you are in private mode, all of the cursors become an anonymous gray. And so you don't have the cursor names next to them. You don't have who it is. You can't follow anyone by clicking on the title up here. It's all anonymized so that it's truly able to be as like unself-conscious as possible.
I love this so much. Amazing. Tushar wants to know, can we create mind maps or sticky notes from Jira work items or from a Jira query into a Confluence whiteboard?
So good question. So you can't make sticky notes, but you can import Jira work items. So we often go from my team, sometimes we go from this like ideation stage and transport everything over into Jira.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes maybe you prefer like the linear approach of creation inside Jira, and so you actually want to just import all of your Jira issues instead. And so you can do that through JQL. You can do that through selecting all of them from your JQL, or even just a basic search of the like word that you're looking for. We can import, I think, up to 1,000 elements at once. So if you've got a really, really big project, you can do that on a whiteboard too.
So this is, you could also, I imagine, if you're just using Smart Create, you could paste in your prompt a link to one or more issues, right? Just right in your prompt directly, and it would work from that context also.
Yeah, it would add content around those Jira issues, but it may not necessarily import them depending on what your prompt is.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so you have a few different options. Fernando was curious, can you create Jira work items from a list in Confluence, so not using sticky notes? And I believe, yeah, you can select anything, like if you're in a live doc and there is, several things in a table or even in a bullet list, especially if you have access to Rovo, it's an especially good experience. But yes, you can create work items from any page, live doc, or whiteboard in Confluence. Can Jira work items be imported automatically via an automation or some kind of action? If not, that would be nice.
It's a really, really good question. There's some improvements that we're making at the moment to our Jira integrations, and I can't say too many details about them, but keep your eyes on Confluence Whiteboards to whoever asked this. That's something that I myself have been dreaming of with my planning.
I love this. That was like such an Eye of Sauron thing to say, like keep your eyes on whiteboards. Don't look away. Let whiteboards guide you. All right. A final request, which I think is absolutely important from DJoy, and that is, can we get a demo of the pen tool? And also, I would like to, I feel like we've talked a lot about ice cream. So can we get an ice cream related demo here? I feel like that's the right thing to do. All right, so we have some color options, which is fantastic.
I'm going to start with, I don't know if that's thick enough. I think we need to go thicker for the ice cream.
There we go.
Let's go with thicker. Yes.
I wish I could collaborate with you right now. I would be putting sprinkles on that thing so fast. Or if you're in the right, or the right spot in the US, you'd be calling them jimmies. Some people call rainbow sprinkles jimmies.
Would you want to collaborate with me right now? I may have a public link set up.
Public, what? Yeah, throw that over to me.
Yeah, let me send you the public link. You might be able to join me over here on this whiteboard.
Everybody, I don't know if you knew, but you can collaborate in these Atlassian tools. It's really wild and bonkers. Where is that link?
I sent it to you in the chat on here.
Okay.
I can also send it to you on Slack.
I got it. Oh my God. I'm not showing my screen right now, y'all, but I am jumping into a public link for this whiteboard. Oh my gosh, look at these pictures. Okay. All right, I'm gonna mark some of this stuff up here. This is unbelievable.
Let's start making a little ice cream. For anyone wondering how I set that public link up and who wants to be able to collaborate, you just hit this little share button here, and you can see I've got public link is on. I've set up a little public link.
Okay, we're going with that. No, you know what I need to do?
You've gone with blue?
Yeah, this was a mistake. We need to go with mint. Everyone said mint is a really important.
No.
Yeah, and then
mint. I'll start with making.
Everyone voted that it's an important base. Okay. Although again, I'm
I don't
kind
know
of
if I agree with the chat.
All right, how about this? You can put a scoop on top of the mint. How about that? What scoop would you
Oh,
go with?
okay. I get to pick. Well, there isn't really a vanilla color. I could do white, but I don't think that would show up that
Yeah,
nicely.
well, you could just
Um,
switch to a
does
dark
anyone
theme.
does anyone have like a bubblegum flavor that they like to have? Because I think that bubblegum is an underrated childhood classic.
Yeah, bubblegum, a flavor that was literally invented by a chemist, and they had to come up with a name for it, so that it was bubblegum. Someone says to put the link in the chat. Everybody wants to be drawing ice cream with us right now. Is
I
that
am
gonna?
not going to do that today because I know who everyone is here, but we don't know who might join later on, and I'm going
It's
to turn the public
true.
link off later.
Yes, such a great
So
suggestion.
unfortunately, I can't share.
We're just drawing ice cream here today, and we're not sure everybody is going to do it. Somebody wants to know: are we using sprinkles or jimmies? I'm saying
I'm Australian. I'm Australian, so these are hundreds and thousands.
hundreds and I forgot about that name for them. They're hundreds and thousands. Yes, of course they are. And I'm using sprinkles. They're sprinkles. The ones I applied are sprinkles. I'm sorry, nobody can jump in and add jimmies. Um, this is unbelievable. Let me see if we do not have any other questions. I'm looking through. I think we have touched on all the things I can think of, but quickly, Emily, because we only have like 2 minutes. I've heard that maybe you might be adding additional diagramming support. Could you briefly gossip about that for us, with us?
I can briefly gossip about that with you. I think as well, I've kind of already briefly gossiped about that with you. We've shown you more shapes. You've seen some of the cloud architecture stuff that's coming through, and I've mentioned a couple of different diagramming ways of working here today. So one of the things that we're looking at the moment is how to support those advanced diagrams just a little bit more. So keep your eyes on that more shapes panel and keep your eyes on the lines experiences, because those will be getting an upgrade in the future. Yeah.
I had the feeling I saw a flow diagram or a mind map be built for me, and I noticed some line things that I haven't seen before, and I was like, ooh, interesting. And I can change the orientation of my mind map. Some very, very peculiar, very exciting things. D-Joy, you were asking, how do you change into dark theme? You click your icon in the upper right and select theme, and you can switch to whichever theme floats your boat. I just go with the system, which I have my system set to dark mode, and there it is in dark theme, which is really, really lovely. Finally, you hinted at this a little bit, but maybe some more improvements in regard to working with Jira and whiteboards?
There are definitely improvements coming your way with how we're working with Jira and whiteboards. I don't know about everyone in the chat today, but I'm assuming because you're here, you're very visual folks. I prefer planning and doing everything to do with Jira inside my whiteboard. And so we're looking at how we can best support your experiences in keeping your whiteboards as up to date with your Jira experiences as possible. So very, very keen to be sharing those improvements with you as they come out.
Oh my God, so exciting. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for coming on and walking us through going from literally a blank whiteboard all the way to we have work items rocking and rolling. As always, we will keep our eyes on whiteboards. Thank you so much for joining us, Emily.
Thank you so much for having me, Matt. It's always a pleasure.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a good time. Please do like and subscribe on the YouTube channel if you haven't. Please check out the link in the chat and sign up for our weekly Confluence newsletter. It is incredible stuff coming out there, y'all. Sign up your colleagues, because I am learning so much from the great content Patricia and Karina are adding there on the weekly. So do sign up for that. Finally, check out our current and new videos. We are releasing videos really quickly again, which I'm very excited about. And join us at Team Barcelona. Come find The Confluence booth, come find the K15T booth. I will be there. I will be speaking at one point. We'll talk about how to create really beautiful pages. So much to talk about, so little time. This has been absolutely wonderful. Y'all are brilliant. I hope you join us again for another live stream as we continue to explore how to use Confluence to share what you do best. Bye.